Okay guys, this is the second part of the Mini Cooper timing chain replacements and thermostat. I have the timing tool kit to remove that, and I want to show you what is the procedure. Installed everything. Okay, you have to spin the engine on the normal rotation procedure or direction. I'm going to show you on the top, but so you have to put the two cams that will have a mark that says exhaust and intake, kind of like reading on it on the middle of the camshaft. You have to spin it like almost where are like facing upwards. You're gonna come and put this tool in the hole. This is get a better view, better picture for you guys. Let me see that here, the light. Okay, you can see a little better. See this handle right here. There is a hole right there. You have to remove the muffler for that, and it just fits in. So as soon as you see the camshafts are almost at the upward position on that mark, you're gonna come and install that one, and with the 18 on the front of the camshaft, and you're gonna push. So let me show you on the top. Bear with me a second. Bring the car down. I'm bringing the car down right now. Better what I'm talking about, the marks. So in intake pan, this is the exhaust. The front of the car will be the exhaust. That's where the turbo is. The exhaust and the intake mark in there. So as soon as that is looking upwards, you're gonna spin the camshaft, the crankshaft, and then you're gonna put that. The kit comes. Let me show you a picture. This is a kit from Bomb Tools, specifically for the N18 and I think N13 too. It comes with two. Probably the N13 you can fit this one in there. It's kind of like the same tool, just this one is a little longer. It doesn't fit in this one because I hit like in the oil pan. So you use the other one, which is a little shorter in there. The handle on this one is a little bit stronger. And then when you have that in there, you're gonna come. These are the holding tools. Will hold the two camshafts on position. You cannot remove the timing change without having this tool. What I also did before putting the tool on, you're gonna come with a 1/116 open wrench, and you're gonna try to move with the pin in there at the bottom. You're gonna try to spin the cams back and forth, see if the adjusters are locked. If they go more than 1 degree, you need to replace the cam adjusters. These ones are fine. That's why I already had the tool installed here. So now I'm ready to remove. I have the specifications and directions in here. This is for the balance unit. So again, they tell you to secure the tool with the 119590, which is that little pin that you put on the bottom. As I told you, on the rear of the engine, it has a hole in there specifically for that use. So those are the tools to hold the camshafts in position. It's 117440. That's the original B&W number, and this is the tool that I have in here. Is, like I said again, made by Bone Tools. I will take you, show you a picture. I will show it to you again. Then you need to remove the chain tensioner and this #1 bulb that I'm just looking around to see where it is. Okay, this is the set, and that's the part number right there from Bone. They're the best quality tools you can get in there. This one's an action marker. I call action marker, but it would take over a month to get it, so thanks but no thanks. Okay, so when you set this up, you can, like the specifications says in here, procedure tell you to remove the tensioner, then release this screw, which I haven't found yet. and then you can remove the guides, the front bolts for the adjusters. As I said here, you can see on the image, the adjuster will have a mark in the intake and the exhaust inside, so you cannot mix it. And this one's actually, it says it outside too, so let me show you that. Says it's intake, and this one is just a little down. Let's see what it says. I'm gonna point to you, but this one says exhaust right there, so you cannot really mix it. I went ahead and did my own marks. They said that after you remove them, you can install the adjusters and pick up a free spot for yourself. So put them anywhere. I decided to be a little extra cautious and just put it exactly where they were. So I did put a center mark in here based on in between these two bolts. I made a small mark here and another mark on the cams, both sides. So I will put them exactly as the engine was. The chain has a lot of slack in there, but the phasers are locked, so that's a good thing. And I'm going to put them in the same position. All right, so let me find a number one bolt to remove, and I will remove the tensioner, and I'm going to show you guys as soon as I got the cassette for the timing change and everything removed. Alright, I got a little bit more off. I haven't found that bolt yet. I'm still haven't removed the tensioner. I want to show you what I have removed. Okay, I took the front motor mount out. That you're gonna need a 13mm socket, an 18mm socket, and a 16 in order to remove. This is very simple. Then I remove this wiring from the front because I need to remove this bracket from the engine. So in order to do that, I'm using this long swivel ratcheting wrench. This is an 8 and a 10. It's very easy. And for these bolts is the E10 reverse storage. I also remove the belt tensioner. Let me show you how they call that here. So 1 second. Okay, let me get this down. Time change replacement. They call that the friction gear. Belt tensioner, friction gear. Let me see if I'm correct with that. I don't want to give you guys a bad information. Let me go over to Identifix. I have to get my credentials in there. Sorry, I haven't shown this. Alright, since I've been working on this, I have that one in here. It's a 2011 Mini Cooper S N18. So it's been, and I have those bookmarks. Replacing timing change. Make sure I'm calling that the right way. Yeah. So they call that the friction gear. Same thing as the belt tensioner. This one doesn't have any electronic connection, so it shows in there. So this is the friction gear, and I have the water pump pulley. The belt, as I showed before, it has I had to cut it. This is the motor mount, and that's the motor mount bracket. I just leave the bolts in there, so I don't have to be choosing which ones are. So the friction gear is held by 3 10mm bolts. So is the water pump pulley. So you have to lose those up before you remove the belt to do anything. In order to remove the belt, if your belt is good, all you got to do is just pull this out. That will make this go in, so you can remove the belt. But again, lose the bolt first, and then, as you can see here, I remove the inner fender. The fender liner, and the pulley and the friction gear. They come kind of like from here, so you don't have to get it up top. It's from here. I also disconnect the ABS sensor, so it's not going to be in my way in there. As per BMW's directions, you're supposed to have a bracket that fits into the alternator bolts and the holes on the holes that the motor mount wear. Yeah, that's another $200 in tools that I don't want to spend, so I just use a 2x4 set up in the bracket for the compressor, for the air conditioning. I still have the jack in here, but if I need to raise the car up in the lift, I can do it securely, because that's not going to go anywhere. And it's the same thing no matter what. I think that's safer than having a bracket that is going to be attached here with these two bolts that are like this distance, maybe 5 inches away from the block, and then secure it in there. That block in there is, I mean, the whole bracket for the compressor is very, very strong. No matter what, the other motor mounts and transmission mounts are in place. So, okay, so now I'm going to remove this one. Let me get the socket to do that. 1 second, guys. Sorry for that. I only have one hand. I mean, two hands. Let's get the ratchet ready. Okay. Sorry for all the movement. So what I'm going to do is just get this old bolts out, take the bracket off. Again, this is the E10. Sorry, E12. That's the E12 on the front. Alright, let me keep going and I will show you how I am doing the disassemble, and then of course putting it back together. I want to make sure you guys see all the timing and everything. Alright guys. Okay, as for the easy of showing you guys, I already removed or loosen up these two bolts for the face, I mean for the adjusters, how they call here, and I also remove all the bolts, pretty much the whole the tensioners or guides in place. I remove the tensioner. That's the tensioner. It's a 27 millimeter socket. You have to have no impact, and it has to be very, very tight. That's where that one goes. If I can get you some light in there so you guys can see better. Okay, that's the hole for the tensioner, and it has this pressure sensor right next to them, so you have to be careful when you're loosening it up not to break that sensor or remove that pressure sensor first. I didn't want to because I'm very careful so nothing happened. Again, I have these loose up. Let me get the bolt for that, I mean the socket for that. I think these are E14. Yeah. Okay, the ones on the cam adjusters are E14. Sorry for all the going back and forth. That's all you gotta do. I tie them a little bit, so this should be a long screws in here. I have all the new ones. I will show you in a second. At least I'm going to remove one so you guys can see how that goes. All these bolts needs to be replaced, so I'm just gonna set up actually the old ones. I'm going to set them up in here. This is all the new parts. That's the tensioner, the two adjuster bolts, crankshaft sprocket, and those are the outside ones. Guides. I'm actually missing one right here. This is the upper guide, the two side ones, and back over gasket. I already installed the thermostat as you saw in the first part. Okay, so I'm going to remove the phasers and get the whole thing out. Okay, I got the timing cassette out. You need to make sure that you remove the oil stick to check the oil level stick. Again, it's 17 on the bottom. The two torch at the bottom are let me see, T45, and the one on the top I think it's T50. Yep, at least that's the way this car came. Again, the ones I'm talking about, T50, is this one is a T50, and the two on the bottom for the guides are T45. The sprockets ones cam phasers or adjuster, how they call here, are E14. All you got to do is make sure that you remove the hub carefully so the oil pump sprocket and chain stays there. As you can see inside there, that has to stay on the crankshaft. You have to be careful. If you start coming out with the hub, make sure you push it in so it doesn't fall. Then you can just release it. That's important, having this tool here, so the camshafts are set on the time, and the crankshafts as well. Make sure you recommend your customer to replace the oil. It's very important. This is the exhaust phaser, and that's the intake. Again, they have the mark outside and inside too, so it's truly, you cannot really miss that. And the timing change in the two guys are going to come as a one piece, as you can see here. It's the same way you will bring it down. That's all you really need to do. I'm going to clean up a little bit in front, wash the engine very good, and then start installing everything. Okay, I clean everything up inside here, so it's ready to install. Just want to show you how I do it. I don't know if you guys noticed on the process of the video how dirty the oil was here, and debris from, of course, a broken guide that was, damaged. I also cleaned the front of the engine, which was very, very dirty. This is the only time you can do things like this. I like to, I don't care how the car comes, I care how the car leaves the shop. So I definitely going to clean everything as brand new to install it back. I know it takes a little longer, but it's just my preference of the way I like to work. I think that people is trusting in me, and they want the car in the best possible way back to them. So for me, it has to look like brand new, and it has to run like brand new, especially when you're doing a big job like this. Alright, so I'm going to install everything back. I'm also working on that Acura, doing front brake pads. That's an easy job, and I have an alignment in there waiting, so just gonna do everything at once. Well, this one's gonna have to wait. The timing chains already installed. It's just set up in there. I haven't tied or torqued anything of the bolts, but as you can see, I have the new guides. You can see the plastic brand new in there. This is the brand new timing chain. I already set up the phasers. Again, they said that you can pick up freely any spot on it, so as long as you set up the position of this and the position of the crankshaft, you're okay. But my personal preference is to make a mark so the phasers are exactly as they were before. I have these bolts for the guides, 2 on the bottom and 1 here, just snug in by hand, and I'm going to torque the adjusters. And I have at the bottom the tool that I made. I drill a hole so I can put a socket and everything in there to hold it and torque it to the specifications. You need to follow the instructions, so I'm just going to read a little bit first. I think I need to put the tool on the 1 second. I'm setting the camera on the tripod. You need to set up the tool where the tensioner goes and set it up for like a 6 newton meters. That's what they request for. Let me check that out 1 second. It's better for you. Sorry guys, I'm there for the Okay, reading the specifications asked me to, or tell me to tie the crankshaft bolt first, then install the Vanos adjusters on top, torque those up, then put the guide rail on the top, which is you will see on the video, and then set up the tensioner to the 6 Newton meters as I said. Recheck the timing, and that should be it. I'll tell you the torque specifications. Let me read it 1 second. Alright, the first one, which is the crankshaft bolt, goes 15 Newton meters and 180 degrees. A snap from torque wrench. This is a digital one. Let me set up. If I don't set it still. Come on. Okay. Alright, first let me go to the units that I need. 90 degrees. Alright, meters. Let's pick up the 50 millimeters. Okay. Get this jack out of there because it's kind of like in my way. Still got that 2x4 in there, so it's not gonna be a problem. It likes to be extra secure with that. I reached the 50 Newton meters. Now I'm gonna go. Put 50.2. Go well, it's 180 degrees, so I gotta go 90. Should probably lift the car for that so you guys can see better. That should be good enough. Set up the camera better. That's perfect. I'm gonna go 90 degrees. They ask you to hold the hub. Actually, yeah, 90 degrees. Should be 40. Set, but it was not set, so set up for 45 degrees. This is too small for this torque. I'm gonna have to get a big one. have the 90. And I'm gonna go request is to 0 the we're gonna put it on 90. That should be set for 90 degrees. And 7, 40, 55, 72, 98. That's it. So we got 180 degrees. She's like 200 and something pounds. That's the nice of this. All right, that's gone. But it was saying the total of the torque was like over 200 pounds of torque. Okay, I hope you guys could hear me good in there. That will be the torque for the bottom hub. Again, you know, we have still the pin on the back, and we have the tool holding the camshaft, so everything is safe that way. I'm going to remove this tool, and then we go up top. Bring the car down. That's good enough. So now what this is telling me is to tighten the camshaft someplace first. I mean the phasers to tighten them up. So this one is telling me to put, again, yes.
You got the cord for this.
Alright, that's the special tool we need for the tensioner. And we have to go 0.4 Newton meters, so just nothing. This goes where the tensioner is. So we need to put back, screw it in. Supposed to pull the upper rail too. Well, we need to take this. Might get to these stickers in here. Maybe the dealer does. Now I have to scrape that out because of course I cannot install with that in there. So, okay, right now I'm going to tie the torque the Vanos adjusters. So what they tell you on the specification is to install the bolts, tie it up and then release it like 90 degrees, which I already did. Just, you know, tie it up a little bit and release it so the adjusters are in place all the way in. And then tied up the tool on the tensioner to 0.4 newton meters. This to take the slack off the timing change. I'm going to tie up the upper rail too as well. You will see that. Let me show you guys what that is. 1 second. Okay, so I have the tensioner tight. I tied it upper rail as you guys saw, and now I'm going to tie this front bolts. That's what they request. They tell me to tie the guys first too as well, so I'm going to do that. That will be with a T45. Request 13 Newton meters, so this is something that with experience you can do. I cannot do the lower ones. I have to drop the engine a little bit to do that, but at least the upper one is tight. That's the one more important for this. Let me get the torque. Wrench. So the specs for this one is 20 Newton meters and 180 degrees. So I have this tight, everything's installed. You see the 20 Newton meters. But you see 20 Newton meters is like nothing, you know. Alright. Now let's go to 180 degrees. So I have set on here. 100 something, 104, 180, perfect. Okay, that's 0, 106. Slowly when you're reaching the point. Perfect, 180. Alright, so then this should be the timing. I have to do something else, so I'm gonna have to stop the video here. At least everything is tight and on time. I still gotta tie the lower bolts, but that's not a problem. Okay guys, so I am removed already all the timing tools. I'm draining the oil. As you can see, I want to show you that it's like, I mean, look at this oil. It looks like a diesel car. This is what I always said to people, you know, like, I mean, the BMW says, oh yeah, 17,000, 20,000. There's no oil that lasts that much. It's just, you know, of course, it's gonna last for, you know, 50,000, 60,000 miles. As soon as you leave the warranty, then it's you're in your own, you know. Oh, the engine is no good. Well, sorry, just buy another engine. So if you want an engine to last, just do normally 5,000 miles engine oil changes. So I'm going to put the oil in the filter. Everything is OEM. I have it right here. I'm changing the belt. This is the engine oil for this car. I got the filter right there. So I'm going to replace this. I mean, the specification says to crank the engine twice and then recheck the timing. That's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to spin by hand the engine. I'm not going to crank it because you guys see I have everything still apart. I just want to make sure that I can double check the timing by myself. So I just want to let you know that. Okay, so let me also, this is all removed. This is the tensioner tool. These are the timing tools to hold the camshafts. And as you can see here, this is the one I'm using on the R16. I mean, sorry, the N18 R56. This one is Pro for the N14, which I had that set too. So, all right, let me put the oil on it. I'm gonna crank it again. I mean, yeah, crank the engine twice, and then I recheck the timing. So I put the new oil and the filter on it, and I already turned the engine like 4 times in the crank direction. I usually put the oil like this so I can lubricate all the cams, lobes, rollers on the back, and the chain too. So, and it's easier to pour all the oil. So I'm going to put right now the pins for the time, and I want to show you this time how I do it. Before I go away, I want to show you that I have the marks are almost to the up, like, you know, facing upwards. That's gonna tell me, or it's gonna help me put that pin on the rear of the crankshaft to set up the timing easier. So again, I remove all the timing tools, the tensioner tool, put everything as the car is about to run. You know, normally spin the engine like by hand 4 times, and I'm about to set up the timing tools again just to double check the timing. It's better do it now than having an issue later. So again, I'm using the short one so you guys can see the difference. Just a little shorter. So it goes in the upper hole right there. Let me see if I can focus. Yeah, okay, perfect. See, it's not going in yet, so I'm gonna have come a little bit. I don't know if I will be able to show you. And I'm sorry for the angle. I might pass it. Because the thing is, you need to have like the 2 hands on what you're doing. You need to spin this and then set up that pin inside. So let me see if I can get somebody to help me here. Hold on 1 second, guys. All right, I got the pin in. Let me show you the difference on that. You see the pin is now all the way in here. So what I did is it's just when, you know, like shaking it a little bit and boom, the pin went in. So let me bring the car down and show you the upper part. The specifications tells me that if I set up the upper tools and I have like in one side 3 millimeters and the other one like a 1.5 millimeter, you check that with the valve adjustment gauges. So as you can see, we have the marks now facing upward. Get a rack. I'm sorry for that, guys. Forgot always that I got a camera in my hands. Okay, so again, you set up these ones here. You see that square one right there is where that fits. So that went in perfect. That perfect, and it's sitting like normally. That's very nice. I'm gonna set up the rear one. Same thing, you had a square, and that cut up is for these springs in there again, and that's, you set them up in the square part of that. Perfect, that went like beautiful. So I truly don't think I need to install anything else. Sometimes when the car is not set up right, the timing, you will fight to bring these ones down. I mean, these ones are all the way down, like sitting completely. It's not like a little bit tweak or twisted, you know. This, let me show you. See, it's going in and out like completely soft. I don't have any force against me to set them up in there, so the timing is perfect. I don't really need to do anything else with the tensioner or nothing. This is completely perfect. Alright, so I'm going to take the tools out, and I'm going to put the valve cover, front water pump pulley, and everything. I will show you slowly how I do it. And let me tell you, what I like to do is, before I set up the motor mount in here, which is where everything gets covered, I put the, let's say, you know, the belt tensioner in that pulley. I put the alternator or dry belt tensioner too, and I put the belt crankshaft pulley. So when everything is set up in here, then I install the motor mount, the brackets, and I work myself from the bottom up. Otherwise you're gonna have to be fighting with everything installed in here. So it's the same thing when I remove. I usually remove this, and then I start from the bottom. Alright guys. Alright, further in the process, I already have the valve cover installed. I have all the pulleys, the tensioner, the power gear, I think is the name of that, and the auto adjuster for the valve installed. So what you have to do, let me get that name, I always forget. Wait for my computer to reboot. Nope. I'm gonna change replacement. So the friction gear. All right, that's the name. All right, you install the friction gear and the water pump pulley from, you have to fit it like from underneath, kind of like from the back on this side. I put those in there. You have to just you have to put the friction gear first, then the pulley. You can tie the pulley. I use a flat screwdriver to hold it in place. It's the easiest way for me to do it. Let me show you what I do. I take this big screwdriver, and I kind of like just jam it in between the, hopefully you guys can see there, just like that. I think it came out. So what I do is I put it right in between one of the bolts and the center of the water pump, and I tied all the bolts to spec. Then you can tie the friction gear. What you have to do then is the crankshaft pulley, you have to fit it with the belt on it because it's very tight space in there. I torqued the crankshaft pulley, the 3 little E12s. This one's in here. So like I said, I fit the belt first with the crankshaft pulley. Then you have to pull the friction gear, kind of like a cord, let's say, you know, it's just made so it releases the pressure, and then you put it back. Then after that I installed the tensioner, which is has 2 E12s too, one here and the other one in here. and then with an adjustable wrench I just release the pressure by pushing it forward, and then this pin, which is the lock pin, just pops out, and then you just release the tensioner onto the belt. So this is exactly how I always do it, because otherwise with the motor mount installed and bracket and everything, it's going to be very hard to do that. I think my next step is going to be fitting the turbo and I mean the intercooler or intake hose in here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Just an elbow on the back. This piece goes right here, right at the back like this. So I'm going to feed this one in, and then I'm going to work on the motor mount. Alright, everything is going very good. I already have a motor mount installed. I have a hose attached. This hose you have to like put it back, put it back first at the bottom, which I haven't tied up yet. The clamp is loose because I have to raise the car for that. But then you tie this up. In order to raise the car, I have to get that block out of the bottom that I was using to hold the engine, and so I installed the bracket and the motor mount, so I don't need that more. So you have to put the bracket first, which is let me get the sockets for that. Yeah, put everything away. Yeah, it's an E12, and the small bolts are E10. That was for like these ones are E10. The ones I was telling you, the tension, they're not E12, they're E10. These ones are, this one right here, they're 4 E12s. They hold the bracket first. Then you put the motor mount, again it's 2 13 millimeters, 1 16. Tie those up, and then you put the upper bracket, which is 4 13 millimeters and a 18 millimeter nut. After that, I just feed the coils. I already got the spark plugs in. I feed the wire in. It has a ground right here on the back. You have to be careful to put the stud right there. And then just feed the wire. It has a, like, it's nice and route very well. It has kind of like these clamps. They fit in place. Make sure you fill the oxygen sensor wiring nice smooth too. What else? Oh, then sorry for that. The air filter, kind of like a fish it in from here, kind of like wiggle it around, and then you're gonna connect it into this duct here, and then it just sits on the rubber grommets, and it has a Torch 25. It's the only bolt that holds that filter in place. So that's as much as I have done here. I'm going to raise up the engine, tie that clamp up, then I'm going to fit out the intercooler hose, fill up the coolant, do a pressure test, and run the car to see how is everything. I will definitely be recording that for sure. Okay, I put the intercooler hose. It has one T20 here and a Torch 20, another one in here. Just a clamp on the bottom. I tie this clamp, and this one just fits and clips in. I put the hose in between the turbo and the air intake. Do all the connections. I put the reservoir expansion tank for the cooling system. I have to do a pressure test because remember I replaced the thermostat housing on the first part of this video. So that's what I got that in there. I want to show you also how you bleed this system. I have it right now set up into here. Let me see if you guys can see when I'm going to put this screwdriver. So okay, right there, perfect. Right there, that's your bleeding screw. It's right at the thermostat housing. So you have to just loose it up to the left and then turn up to the right. I already bleed it out, so it should be okay. And I'm going to do the pressure test, and then later on I already have the oil and everything in here, so I expect not to have any leaks. So what I do is I use this pump. I'm going to put like 16 pounds and wait like 20 minutes to make sure we got no leaks. And if it's any leaks, of course, repair it. Alright. Alright, I got like 25 minutes with this installed. As you can see, it's still right in the money. Let me make sure the camera focus. It's 16 pounds exactly. It didn't drop a bit. I'm going to show you that we got no leaks. The only leak you will see is when I bleed the system, which is that one, but there is no dripping or nothing. So with this, I'm confident enough that the car will have no more issues, and I'm just going to crank it. So I'm going to remove this, fill whatever more coolant I need, because when you pressure test the system, it pushes down the coolant zone. If you need to add, just add a little bit. Again, I'm using the OEM coolant too. Alright, just started. As you can see, it's just getting a little temperature on the turbo. The engine is not even warm, but the engine is completely noiseless. This was really noisy when you started cold, which of course that was the timing chain problem. You know, that guy at the top, he's lucky he stopped it at the right time, and I gave him a good advice, because otherwise you can damage a complete engine with this. He is off of warranty. It's a beautiful car. He's going to be a happy customer, and he's going to be happy with his car for a long time. Thermostat housing is perfect. There's no noise. I mean, there's no leaks. I'm just going to let it warm up, turn it off, and finish installing the lights and that radiator support bracket that goes on top of that, and pretty much I'm done. So I hope you guys like the video. I don't think I'm going to put that on the video. That's just normal assembly for that. But the car is running good. It's very smooth, and like I said, I just crank it. So this is completely cold. Even the turbo is cold. See how cold that is? I can put my hand in there. So alright. But again, if you guys like the video, thumbs up and share the video if possible.